Coming up on Mountain News this morning, dozens of fishermen here in our region hit the water while aiming to make a big splash for a good cause. And people in Perry County hit the streets of Hazard to enjoy some fun, food, and music during the weekend.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. It's almost 6 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris. You know, I don't think we ever really start the 6 o'clock hour right on 6 o'clock. I don't know. Just depends. Maybe I need to start talking more. Well, let's head over to meteorologist Cameron Aaron for a look at our forecast this morning. And what'd you say? It's foggy. Ooh, you gave me like 3.
In some places it's a little bit foggy.
Yeah.
A little bit chilly in some places, upper 40s. A little bit showery, if that's a word, in some places. And like Dickinson and McCannon County, Virginia. But overall, not too bad this morning. We are looking at some cloud cover. That's going to start to fade away as we go later on into this afternoon. The big story, though, the very chilly temperatures. Here's a live look over in Moorhead. Not too bad right now. A little bit cool. Upper 40s, sitting at 46 in Moorhead. Also sitting at 46 in Somerset and London. 48 for Jackson and Manchester. 51 in Clintwood and 52 for Logan. So not terrible, especially considered where we will be by this time tomorrow. We are looking at a few showers over portions of Buchanan and Dickinson counties in Virginia near Prater, also near Clintwood just to the south of that location. These are moving off to the east, southeast along with that cold front, and that is going to continue pushing out of our region. Temperatures warming up into the middle 50s. We do start to dry out and clear out into this afternoon, but like I said, we are tracking a very chilly overnight. I have those details coming up in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Cameron, thank you. Well, since July's devastating flood that impacted many parts of our region, we've shared countless stories of neighbors helping neighbors in time of need. And for more than 2 months, several Southeast Kentuckians have been working to raise funds for those impacted by the flood. And during the weekend, their ideas came to fruition in the form of a bass fishing tournament. Our Alyssa Williams has that story.
Hours before sunrise, dozens of fishermen hit the waters of Lake Cumberland, not only aiming to get the biggest catch, but to make an even bigger impact.
When you go through all that planning and all those things, it just comes together. Everybody in the community doing their part, and then when you watch something like this take place today, it's just a blessing. Saturday's
bass fishing tournament started as an idea of the event's founder, Bobby Gum.
You come across me while I was getting ready to pour a driveway, and I just wanted to make a difference. And right away, I picked up the phone and I called Daryl, and I said, Daryl, I need some help.
After speaking with Daryl Floyd, a volunteer with the nonprofit Casting for Christ, an organization dedicated to fundraising for people in need through bass fishing tournaments, the two started planning the Fishing for Eastern Kentucky event.
So we all come together, and I went to work raising money, calling people and businesses, and everybody I asked gave me money. So I think we're a little bit over $40,000 that we've raised for these families.
But Gum and the others had something else up their sleeves for one particular attendee.
You know, when you open the door and you see everything you got destroyed, I mean, you can't imagine.
Buckhorn native and preacher Jesse Turner lost everything in the flood, and after connecting with the event organizers, they invited him to the tournament to lead everyone in a prayer, but to also surprise him with a $2,000 donation.
And that just brings out the goodness in you, and you know and understand that God is still at work, and He's got good people out there to help one another, and we really appreciate that.
Reeling in the help they need to make a difference for their neighbors in Eastern Kentucky. In Pulaski County, Alyssa Williams, WYMT Mountain News.
Fishing for Eastern Kentucky founder Bobby Gum says there were nearly 80 participants in the tournament, and they reached their goal of $50,000. Travel trailers were set up across Eastern Kentucky after the flooding in late July. One of the locations is in Crockettsville in Breathitt County, where survivors are wrestling with the trauma while trying to seek some normalcy. The trailers are a symbol of a new start to the lives of survivors, but they are also a constant reminder of the tragedy that led them there. Survivor Josh Miller says they have leaned on each other during the tough times.
It's nice here. I mean, we've got nice people in the park. You know, everybody watches everybody's camper when you're gone. It's a small town, you know, everybody here knows one another.
Well, some survivors in Crockettsville say they are unsure if they'll ever return to the homes they originally lived in. Well, Well, a grand opening and ribbon cutting for a new distillery was held in Prestonsburg this past weekend, and it was all for a good cause. Our Jordan Mullins has more with 1620 Distilling Company and how the business's grand opening is benefiting families impacted by the shooting in Allen in late June.
1620 Distilling Company held its grand opening in Prestonsburg on Saturday, welcoming folks in to try locally made bourbons, whiskeys, and wines. Owned and operated by the Turner family, they say the 1620 in their business's name has a rich history.
My seventh grandfather, George Thorpe, in 1620 distilled the first corn whiskey, which is now known as bourbon, in this country.
But the business is not simply celebrating its grand opening. It is also giving back to families impacted by the Allen shooting in late June, where 3 police officers and a police canine were killed.
It's not only our grand opening, it is a fundraising event, and all of this money will be donated to the Floyd County Foundation Crisis Fund and will go to the families of the fallen heroes that lost their lives during the incident in Allen.
Prestonsburg Mayor Les Stapleton says he is proud to have the new business in town.
There's no way we could ever help those people completely heal. Those families are just devastated. But, you know, every little bit helps. That's what it's all about. They're opening up a new business and they're giving back to the community. Well, how better could it get?
And folks are thankful the business is giving back to its community.
And the fact that we have a new business and they are so interested in trying to help those in our community. Of course, the Turners are, you know, they're our folks, they're local folks, and they're always wanting to give back. And so we're always excited to see that.
Taking care of their neighbors and raising a glass to remember the lives lost. In Prestonsburg, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Well, Billy Turner adds 1620 Distilling Company will have much more coming at the tasting room location in the future and plan to distill and bottle their award-winning bourbon in-house. The second annual Cruising with Cruisers car show was held Saturday in Whitesburg. Vehicles with decades of history were shown off with generational projects all lined up. Antique trooper cars stood in the spotlight, something Trooper Matt Gayhart says is a prized possession for officers.
State Police maintains a fleet of classic cars that we use just for stuff like this, parades, festivals, take them out in the community, kind of show them off.
All proceeds from the car show go towards the Shop with the Trooper Fund for kids at Christmas. And people headed to Hazard's Oktoberfest this past weekend. Live music along with vendors lined up Main Street. Regional bands played while locals enjoyed barbecue and drinks at the festival. Regional music promoter Tim Parks says bringing the music acts to Hazard continues to be an exciting addition to the area.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's great for the community. The economic impact here is usually great. Last year we had Sunday Best here, and this place was absolutely jam-packed. So it's great to be able to do that for our region and our people.
Oktoberfest wrapped up at 10 o'clock Saturday night. Well, Pikeville Pride returned during the weekend after a 2-year hiatus because of the pandemic. Thousands of people gathered at Pikeville City Park to celebrate the LGBTQ+ community, showing their support and having some fun with music, food, and more. Volunteer organizer Emma Lowe says the support from people across Appalachia is astonishing and something most people from the region who identify as LGBTQ+ could have never dreamed of even just 10 years ago.
This is our home, so we're just happy to see that we can be ourselves and be open about who we are here at home. For a lot of us growing up, this is something we never expected to happen for us. And now we're joined in, like you said, a few thousand people coming out to celebrate us as well. So it's heartwarming.
Along with music and food, Pikeville Pride 2022 also featured several guest speakers. And one of those speakers was U.S. Senate candidate Charles Booker. He took the stage to address the people who came out and spoke about recent events such as the overturning of Roe v. Wade and his background growing up in Louisville. We caught up with Booker after he addressed the crowd.
My commitment, by expanding the majority, we can pass a lot of legislation immediately. We can codify Roe, we can protect the right to vote, we can make sure investments are coming to communities that have been ignored, just like right here. And I'm committed to that because that's my life story.
Well, Booker added, it is important to cast your ballot on November 8th, no matter who you're voting for.